In our calendar of things, today celebrates one of the oldest crafts that we practice. Today is National Leathercraft Day.
More than 7,000 years ago, people were sun drying and preserving animal hides, and the oldest known leather shoe was made more than 3,500 years ago. Through the centuries, the art has been refined, and in 1911, L.L. Bean got to work perfecting the water-resistant duck boots that would help launch his company. Took a few tries for LL to correctly match the leather uppers to the rubber bottoms, but the simple, rugged boot has been worn by everyone from Babe Ruth to models on the runway at New York Fashion Week. And for many years, Maine was a mecca for shoemaking and leather work.
That work has largely gone overseas now, but Highland belts and fine leather goods in the town of Brewer, that's a success story. They started off with a sister company under the same roof that made shoes, but that part of the business was bought and sold. Today, the focus is on leather belts. Back in 2008, about a third of their belt business was ribbon belts, popular at schools, country clubs, and golf tournaments. Here's Rob Caldwell with more.
Highland's niche is that it can supply small, specialized orders. Need a dozen belts? No problem. Other manufacturers aren't so nimble.
You can't order 6 belts from China. You can't get 6 belts from China. You can't. You have to get 6,000 belts from China.
Orders don't get any more specialized than the one that came in from a high-end seller of men's accessories in New York called Cale Miles. Highland ended up making a leather belt that Cale Miles now sells for $18,000. Yeah, $18,000.
Now, I know what you may be thinking. With that kind of money, you could buy a new car. Or, if you wanted to buy a car like this one, you could buy about 18 of them.
Highland makes the leather part of the belt, which is somewhat similar to this one, and it is exquisite. But the reason the belt costs $18,000 is because the buckle is made of platinum, which now costs about $1,500 an ounce.
You know, it seems out of this world, but then again, who can imagine buying a $30,000 engagement ring? And they sell them all the time. You know they do. So.
You know what, that $18,000 belt, when I made it, I didn't even know I was making it. They don't tell me that this buckle I'm sending you is $18,000 on this belt. You know, they just don't tell you that.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
When we first aired that story in 2008, it got the attention of another Maine business.
More than 25 years ago, Amy Bouchard started baking whoopie pies in her kitchen to sell enough to buy a bicycle. Today, her business is Isamac Snacks, aka Wicked Whoopies, and it moves thousands of the sweet treat every day. She loved the story about the handmade, made in America ethic at Highland and decided to send them a little treat.
Well, I couldn't stop thinking about those people and that story, and I had TiVo'd it, rewind, TiVo, rewind, back and forth, and I'm like, oh my God, I want these guys to have whoopie pies.
I'm going to say about a week later, all of a sudden this big box arrived, and I can't even remember what it said, like from somewhere, and nobody could figure out what it was, and we were all going, what the heck is this? Who is this from? Maybe they got the wrong address. And open that thing up, whoopie pies. And there were 8 cases of whoopie pies. The card that she sent along was just so nice. You know, it just basically said it was great to see a story about another company in Maine, and I loved the way all your people were working hard, and it was just really, really nice.
I know how difficult it is to have, you know, people stay with me and work. It's not easy work. There's nothing glamorous about it. And when I saw the Highland story, it was just those Mainers, those hardworking Mainers. It was just beautiful. I just loved it. It was just melting my heart.
The folks at Highland decided to repay Amy's kindness.
What we ended up doing here was Bruce and I, the factory manager for the belt company, we actually got together and we actually had a stamp made of their, you know, Wicked Whoopie Pie. And we went out and we actually got a stamp made, and we made keychains for their entire factory.
Everybody at our bakery was just flipping out. They were just so happy. They all got a keychain. Everybody at the company signed this card, so I just stood there and cried like a baby. And because I didn't want anything in return. I just thought that was just so sweet.
I love that.
It really is what's part of what makes Maine so special.
Yes.
Those stories right there.
Mainers supporting Mainers.